All right, I believe this is about where we left off with last time, and we're looking at, this would have been last Thursday, I believe. So again, a week ago we didn't have school. Then I think we're all together on, I want to say on Thursday, and then Friday I think was an early dismissal due to, I believe it was basketball, and I think I had had driven bus that day. So now, um, the major thing to think about that we spent time on with circulation here, if it's an open circulatory system, okay, we're talking about blood sinuses instead of capillaries because it's not pressurized. If it's a closed circulatory system, then you're referring to a concept of having a pressurized system where there's capillaries instead, okay? So when we're looking at characteristics of the majority of arthropods, as you can see, a lot of them having the skeleton on the outside means that that's going to have to be shed or released, and that's anything from a spider to certain types of insects that have to go through this process of removing their, again, skeleton. Just like in many mammals, when we're talking about any type of mandible, okay, where there's specialized mouth parts, where some actually move side to side in arthropods, where in more specialized animals like that of course, the vertebrates, where the jaw actually moves up and down rather than, for instance, side to side. That's what we mean by a mammal. Any type of jaw that's going to do or perform a type of chewing function. And chelicerae is just a fancy way of saying pinchers, like what you would find in that of, you could say anything from horseshoe crabs, opilio crabs, anything from king lobsters to crayfish. Any type of these types of structures are known as pinchers. But when you're looking at an envenomating structure, then we're talking about that of spiders, where the chelicerae is, again, a type of fangs. And that was in our classification portion, where you're comparing that of the arachnids. I think that was one of your questions on the paper that was handed out yesterday when you're in Mr. Deitcher's class. The idea of when you're comparing that of the arachnids, there are three different types. You got spiders, you got scorpions, and ticks and mites. So then if you had that phylogeny tree wrote down that we started with, where we're classifying these animals, the content that you would see is certain types of terms like what you would see here. Scorpions have an envenomating barb, where spiders have fangs or chelicera. Okay, so I don't know how much content you have to write down, but we'll go ahead and keep this moving, and then hopefully we can see the value of this content that would help you fill out that short answer paper that was handed out to you. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I have that of the plants in the grade book yet. I had them, okay, they're done, I just don't have them in the grade book. I'm just placed it in a separate pile and just never found their way into the grade book. I will get that done at some point yet today. So anytime you're referring to the anterior region that's in bipedal animals such as ourselves, that would be the ventral side or the chest, okay? But when you're looking at quadrupedal animals, or those that actually have four sides, okay, or in certain types of arthropods where there's actually crawl on more than four legs, you could also look at it in that manner. You have an anterior regions where their head and cephalic or sensory organs could be located. You have a tail-like region. Then you have a chest that's close to the ground. Then you have a dorsal side that would be on its back. Okay, so we'll try to keep this short. I try to keep them between 15 and 20 minutes. I see we're about a third of the way there. So again, we'll just go ahead and keep this moving. And for those of you who know, if you spend any time on a lake, once you put your boat back onto your trailer, as you're pulling away from the dock, there's probably 3 or 4, well, I shouldn't say 3, but at least 2 different places where it's going to say pull your plug, okay? Because what's happening is some of these barnacles then can get spread from one freshwater source to another. And the one that we're really having problems with in South Dakota is the zebra mussels, okay? And these are more so an invasive species because once they spread, it could be, I believe there's no natural predator for them. And that's why these get to be a problem in freshwater sources. So that gets us about halfway through this content here. Let's see here. If we were to continue to go forward, I'd like to do this one. And I think that would be enough for today. We'll save that one for another time and another day. Let's go ahead and get through the rest of these crustaceans. And then we'll put some vocab terms up on the whiteboard here. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for today, at least on this portion here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and continue with putting some of these vocab terms down for us. So I got the first 3 here. I'm trying to color coordinate them so that way you don't get any confusion if these lines don't go straight across. So arthropods, a group of invertebrate animals. Should have left a little more space, I think. Includes arachnids and crustaceans. Includes arachnids and crustaceans. Okay, that would also include insects. Of course, you could say millipedes, centipedes, those will also be considered as arthropods, so you wouldn't be wrong if you were to say that as well. Segmentation, just like when you're putting things into bits and pieces. So segmentation, the division of a body into a series of similar parts. So division of a body, okay, or a body, you could say, into a series of similar parts. Okay, then exoskeleton, of course, different from that of an endoskeleton, which would develop on the inside like it does for mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish, for instance. So a hard exoskeleton, or hard skeleton, is that what we want? External structure. That develops from the ectoderm, I think is what the author says. Okay, and we'll just repeat this in these colors. So next we've got chitin. It's the major carbohydrate. Okay, major carbohydrate in the exoskeleton of arthropods. Okay, we're up to about 12 minutes. Okay, then we've got compound eyes. Okay. Okay, so a composition of many light detectors separated by pigment cells. And then I think we got room for, we'll just say one more. Okay, crustacea. Then we'll stop there for today. Okay, class of aquatic arthropods. Includes crayfish and lobsters. Okay, so maybe tilt that down just a little bit, where it says a class of aquatic arthropods includes crayfish and lobsters. Okay, so that's about 13 minutes. Again, we try to keep it around anywhere between 15 and 20, so we'll stop there for today. And should we be doing this remotely again tomorrow, which it would be rather apparent that we will, chances are at least be a late start on Friday. That's just an opinion that we would have. So try to have this vocabulary done, I would say, by next Tuesday, I think. And then Tuesday, I think, is February 28th, the last day of February, unless it's a leap year, which I don't believe it is. So that's all I have. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll catch up to you next time.